all of the energy we get from all new photovoltaics and windmills and so forth is much less than 1% of our energy needs. And our rates of increase of use of coal, we for the world and for the United States, for oil, coal, and gas, the increase in any one year tends to be greater than the total of photovoltaic and wind turbines. So all the windmills, all the photovoltaics are trivial compared to fossil fuel. So yes, we'd like another option. I've been studying this for almost 50 years, and I can't quite tell you what it is unless it's nuclear. Would you like more nuclear plants? The trouble is we're not sure if there's enough uranium to do it, but more nuclear certainly is an option. I think it's a good option. Mm-hmm. But you know there's problems with it. And if we have a big problem with nuclear, which can always happen, then there'll be public outcry for turning them all down, and then we won't have anything. The rural people are split on this too, because you can rent your property and get, you know, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for selling the mineral rights to your property. And this is often people have very poor areas where people have very few other alternatives, and the gas money is a godsend. And then a probably larger number of people, but maybe they don't feel quite as strongly, they say, oh geez, I'm really worried about our water. And remember, part of the water problem is just disposing of it.
The only place they'd be able to take it is the metro plant, right?
Or the equivalent, you know, there are many such equivalents. And they're set up for dealing with a different kind of waste. They deal with mostly carbonaceous waste, and this is mineral waste. So a lot of areas in the country have been sort of energy sacrifice areas. West Virginia and Pennsylvania with coal mines. Rocky Mountains recently for getting gas. Southern Louisiana for getting oil, as we're all messed up getting oil in southern Louisiana, but that was 50 years ago, and usually it has been relatively quiescent, not politically powerful people because they're often very poor. But now this is starting to take place in more affluent, more noisy, more environmentalist parts of the world, and so it's changing from that perspective. That are we the new energy sacrifice area? Well, if we don't get the gas from us, where are we going to get it? And what kind of impact are we going to have on who? Or can we get by with less gas? A lot of people want to burn gas because it's supposedly cleaner than many other fuels. So there are many people who are arguing we should burn more gas compared to coal because it's cleaner. Well, do you agree? Because I think one thing, if we end up doing it, which looks like we are, if there's a lot of environmental noise, then they're going to be a lot more careful in doing it. And we certainly got to watch these guys, because there's no question that they'll cut corners. If we're not watching, you guys ought to be out watching them while they drill and say, you're not supposed to dump that water in the creek. But even if they do it as cleanly as possible, there will be environmental impact. The tough nose is there's no free lunch. I don't think the world has to be. I think the world, I don't want to leave you with a pessimistic view. Let me say a couple things. That the only thing worse than running out of oil is not running out of oil. Because if we don't run out of oil, we just keep bulldozing the earth into oblivion. Now the transition is likely to be difficult, but it depends how we deal with it. I think there's lots of exciting things that we can do right now. I'm very excited by the work of a guy called Will Allen, who's trying to bring agriculture into the cities. Very, very clever bunch of ideas he has for getting young inner city kids involved in growing their own food, etc. So lots of ideas, but I don't think you're going to have the energy intensive lifestyle I have. I hop in a jet plane once a week and go do all my science stuff. Give talks on this. I don't think that's going to be available for most people in the future. But, and you know, science is energy intensive.
Mm-hmm.
Took a lot of energy to get all this stuff, make all these books, whatever. But mostly to do the research that they represent. So we're going to have to do things differently, I think. If we were having peak oil and if we didn't have fracking for gas, gas would be dropping the same rate as oil. It'd be a double whammy on our environment. But as it is, gas production is flat. Maybe he stretched out flat for another decade or two or three. Then we're in real trouble.
Mm-hmm.